Mary, Mary, Mary. Guess what happened to me the other day?
Tell me.
All right, I generally live in a bubble of happiness and joy, which
Yes,
is
you
very
do.
irritating. And
Yes, it
usually,
can be.
when I go out, I experience the greatest things. Happy people. It's just what I.
Because that's what you're looking for.
That's what I'm looking
Generally,
for.
yeah.
But it was so like mind blowing. I was out the other day, and there was a man yelling at a cashier.
Oh, I hate that. That's
And
become kind of norm, actually.
I could feel the anxiety of the entire place. I'm like, my vibration must have dropped because I'm feeling this, and I don't usually feel these things. And I was watching as a spectator, almost in awe, thinking, how does that man have no regulation of his emotions?
Yes.
And then when I told a few friends, like, Brenda, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
I see it, yes, in
Sadly, yeah.
the news where people are taking it to the extreme and hurting other people.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, then when you hear like, oh, he's just, or she's just a normal mom or dad, we would have never expected this behavior.
Mm-hmm.
As I sat there, I was sending love to the place. And the guy simmered down.
Mm-hmm.
I was working on him, actually. And he simmered down. He actually did apologize for his rude behavior. But still, the anxiety of the room didn't go away.
Well, and then people take that home with them, like when they've seen something like that. I think this is a big deal. I think there's a lot of talk in the media, everywhere. Even like universities are studying emotional regulation, emotional intelligence. Like the last 10 years, we've learned so much about the emotional feeling brain. It's almost like it didn't exist up until now, because all the research has been in our physical bodies, and now we're learning more about our brain and our emotional body and the connection between the two. And I do feel like something happened after COVID, and it feels like people are on some kind of cruise control when it comes to their feelings. So if they feel it, it's got to come out their mouth. And that can be very destructive.
It's almost like, okay, people stop caring what they dress like.
Yes.
Right? Like, people are going out, like, sometimes, not to be judgy, but it's like, wow, I wish I had the audacity to go out like that and not care.
Yeah.
I have toned down a lot in the way I dress. But it's almost like, hey, anything goes, and my emotions can just be like verbal diarrhea.
Yeah.
But what we don't realize, or maybe they do and don't care, is what we send out affects those around us.
Mm-hmm.
So negativity is very contagious. One angry person walks in the store and starts like, really, it was such a minor issue.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to just tell the guy, really just, But I just watched it and listened, and it simmered down, but it could have escalated.
Yeah. But don't you feel like people feel like they're entitled to their feelings now? Like, I'm allowed to be angry at you for this minor little thing. And it's like they take such a position on it.
It could be that they feel they're allowed. I think it's more, this is my I think it's more that they just don't have control as they used to, because, and I'm going to go into my, spiritual stuff here.
Yeah.
We as humanity are healing. Now you're saying, how's that guy healing?
Yeah.
There's an energy on planet Earth that's shifting. Now, that we all can agree on. Look at the state of the world. Things are coming to the surface that we used to be able to hide and turn a blind eye. We are no longer able to turn a blind eye to the negativity in this world, and no longer able to turn a blind eye to the negativity within us. Now, for someone who is aware, you're aware, I'm aware, probably a lot of people listening to this are aware. When we get triggered, when our emotional field is healing something, when there's a trauma coming to the surface, we can feel out of alignment, not ourselves, confused, frustrated, angry, all those things. But we can self-regulate because we have emotional intelligence. We have awareness that, hey, something inside of me is coming to the surface for healing.
Yeah.
Now,
well, some people have that anyway, not because they're aware, but because, when they were children and they were learning about emotions, their parents maybe role modeled really good emotional regulation. And then when their brain grows again in adolescence, they have other mentors. And if they get role modeled really good emotional regulation and learn about emotional intelligence, I feel like even people that were really good at emotional intelligence, I feel have slipped backwards somehow.
All right.
And so this is where your theory comes in.
Yes. And
because I don't understand what those people are doing anymore. Like they used to be so good.
So humanity is being challenged to heal. This energy that's coming at us. We can't see it, but scientists know something's changing on the planet. Earth is moving to a different area of space. Different energies are coming at us. We don't really have to get into it more than that. Just imagine there's an invisible energy moving through our systems. Doesn't matter if you're a level-headed person, an angry person, a very enlightened person. We're all being challenged. Now, for those of us who are open, we're using this energy to heal, release traumas, and we deal with it in the most appropriate way we can. Not to say we don't cry, not to say we don't get angry. We just know how to vent it out.
Yeah.
Now, can you imagine someone who's usually emotionally intelligent is acting now a little crazy? And people are like, what's going on with Jim or Bob or Sandy? What's happening is they too are being affected by this energy, and it's doing things that they're not used to. It's breaking stuff for them to heal, which can cause resistance to fight back, which can trigger anger, emotion, and outbursts of something that's really not appropriate.
So it harder for them to control their feelings, and to do all that emotional intelligence work. It's just coming out and spilling wherever.
They might go home afterwards and say, oh my gosh, you won't believe what I did today. I yelled at the cashier for really nothing. And some people that I've spoken to have said, I've actually had to return to a store and apologize to the lady I yelled at. Or I yelled at my coworker, which is totally inappropriate now. But at the time, I had no control.
Yeah.
So now we're talking about people who have some awareness. I shouldn't have done that. And will look at it and say, why did I do that? And they're a little scared because they feel like they're losing control.
Yeah.
But now you look at, there's another type of person who doesn't understand any of this, didn't even have emotional control.
Yeah.
And they're acting and lashing out in strange ways, but don't even know they're doing it, are not aware of it. And that's where we're having escalations in what we're seeing on the news.
Yeah.
He's a perfectly fine dad. She's a perfectly fine mom. We wouldn't have expected this behavior from that person.
Yeah.
Because this healing energy that's awakening humanity can be very positive for growth, but also can be very destructive if the person is not allowing it for growth and resisting it. It's almost magnifying the anger within them to act out very outrageously.
Yeah. So there's got to be some healthy ways that we can help people cope with all these feelings that they're feeling.
Of course there are. There's so many things, but the people who are struggling the most are not going to be listening to this. But if you have somebody in your house that's not into spiritual stuff, like, don't talk to me about that stuff, remind them to breathe.
Yes.
That's not spiritual.
No.
We're breathing.
Yes.
We need breath. A deep breath can really reset someone. You don't have to do breath work. Breath work is, it's very powerful and it does great stuff. But when you're talking to just an everyday person, remind them when you feel that anger, take a deep breath and hold it. Hold it, hold it, hold it. And then let it go when you're ready. Like when you really have to. That is a big reset.
Yeah.
And might bring clarity to them without sounding spiritual. The last thing you want to do is give spiritual practices to someone who doesn't want it but needs the help.
Right. I'm a hockey mom, so in hockey we always had the 24-hour rule. So if you were upset about something in hockey, you would have to wait 24 hours before you talk to the coach. And then what happens after 24 hours, you're not really that mad anymore.
That's great.
Yeah. So that's another trick I use with kids and husband and other family.
Yes. But the thing is, you're now in a situation outside your home and there's frustration. Let's say you bought something and it broke, and then you bought it again and it broke, and now they're saying, well, maybe you're breaking it. Okay, now you're going to go off your lid. I'm breaking it. Right? At that time, that's when the person needs to reset. But they're already in their emotion and they're fiery and they're going to blah, blah, blah.
But I also feel like social media and some of the videos we see, like, that are supposed to be funny, but it's people acting out on their feelings, gives us permission. It's like we see it often enough that now we have permission to do weird things when we're feeling all kinds of different ways. But you never see a video on somebody, breathing and trying to control their emotions. That's no fun. Right? So I think people are seeing people act out all the time, and it's like this new normal. But it's not healthy. It's not.
I've actually been told by my own children, Mom, the reason your YouTube video's not doing well is because what you teach is boring.
Yeah.
People want anger and frustration and negativity. That's what sells. Well, that sells in the old energy. Now people have to decide, what energy do you want to stay in?
Yeah.
Do you want to stay in 3D with duality and anger? Then so be it. I don't hang out there. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I've gone to the fourth dimension. I do my best to stay in that energy where I can hold kindness in all situations. It doesn't sell. But the one thing that I will not sell is I don't like to fear. Yes, there are things changing in the world. Absolutely. There's a big shift happening. But why add fear to that? There's enough fear in the world right now.
Yeah, and that's a choice you can make. So I guess when you're having feelings, make good choices, people.
And these people who are listening are doing their best to make the best choices.
Yes.
And they might sometimes not do the best and probably say, why didn't I do so well? Don't be so hard on yourself. We're being bombarded by a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But the ones that we really need to get to, that this world doesn't have to be this way, and the change starts with you because you create your own reality. They may not come across this, but they may come across our listeners. And when we see that, let's just say you're in an uncomfortable situation and you're seeing someone yelling, don't go into fear. Go into observation.
Yeah.
And then add light to it. Bring in divine light and just imagine it filling the room. And you'll see you can change these outcomes to something better. It's you do have that power, right? And then those people in our lives that don't understand this, don't go at them and at them. Speak to them at a language they can understand. Breathe.
Yeah.
And so I just had a vision. So I was teaching my daughter. She used to get angry, you know? She used to got a lot going on in her life. She was angry. And I was looking at a video for children. What could they watch? And it was a Sesame video of Elmo. And it was called Calming the Monster Inside.
Oh, that's cool.
And I don't know if it's still on there, but YouTube,
I'm sure
Elmo, Monster Inside. And it's the cutest thing. We watched it together. When you feel the monster inside, what do you gotta do? You breathe. It calms it down. So we used to do that. We stopped doing that because she understands when she's mad at school. Let's say someone doesn't want to talk to her for whatever reason. She'll say, "I need a minute, and I'm gonna go meditate." And she goes, "Mom, I went under a tree." And I sat there and I breathed 3 times. And I felt good and I could go back.
Wow.
That's what these adults need to learn, right? But, are they going to watch Elmo and the Monster Inside? Maybe not. So speak to them at a level they can hear.
Yeah. Good reminder. Feelings are important. They tell you a lot of really good information. But I think breathing is going to even help you even more. Breathing.
Self-regulation, people.
Yeah.
Self-regulation.
It's a good reminder. Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you.
For more information, contact Brenda, www.sobrilliant.ca. Send us an email. How are you feeling today?
Thank you for joining us.
If you have any questions or comments, visit us at sobrilliant.ca.
Sending you lots of love and light. Until next time.